Jesus, keep me with arms just nothing. Allow me to be a blessing. Blessed me and Matthew. I can be a blessing. Lord, I thank you.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Good evening. Is my mic hot?
Oh my God. Yeah, I can hear you.
All righty. Good evening, you all. Let us get this thing in order. There has been so many difficulties trying to get to this podcast tonight that I know without a shadow of a doubt it's about to be fire. Okay, so y'all come on in. Come on in. Let me get this thing together. All right.
All right.
Y'all, come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Am I still echoing, Deidre?
Say again?
Am I still echoing?
No.
Okay, perfect. All right, y'all. Good evening. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you. We cannot say thank you enough. You could be doing anything tonight on Friday, but you chose to be here with us. And I promise you, you will not regret it. So y'all come on in. Come on in. Come in. We're going to get started in just a few seconds. Just a few seconds, we're going to get started. Good evening, Miranda. Thank you for coming in. Y'all do me a favor. While y'all are coming in, like, tag, and like, tag, and as a matter of fact, tag 3 people. Why don't you? That's my favorite number. Tag 3 people. As a matter of fact, tag more than 3 people because y'all are in for something amazing. This woman I have, that's to my right, to your left, however. When I say she is so dope, she is so dope. Y'all want to share this podcast tonight? Y'all want to share? When I say spit fire, look, I'm so nervous and excited that I don't know what to do with myself. Listen to me and to listen to me. He is about to bless y'all entire lives. I hope y'all ready. I hope y'all ready. I hope y'all ready for what y'all get ready to experience, because that's exactly what it's about to be. You're about to encounter a whole experience. Come on in, y'all. Come on in. This is your girl, Miss Q, aka Apostle Q, BKA Cornetta Thomas, your mind whisperer, president, and CEO of Diamonds in the Rough International, Diamond Graphics, and Diamond Dynasty Unlimited. And welcome to Freedom Friday, y'all. Welcome once again to Freedom Friday. Don't forget, we will be here every Friday at 7:30 p.m. Every Friday. And if you would like to send in the submission to be interviewed, send me a message in my inbox, in my DM, or you can email me at ditrintl@gmail.com. That email again is ditrintl@gmail.com. I have to send a special shout out to 95 South Podcast and Jacob Anderson. Also, Eddie Jones for sponsoring us, allowing us to use our voices in their podcast to spread a message that's going to free the people. All right, y'all. Now come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Please let me know if my audio is clear. I want to be sure that my audio is clear. If you can write in the comments for me, yes, that would be really, really good because we about to get started in just a few seconds. Come on in here, y'all. Come on in here. As I said before, as you're coming in, I also want you to comment where you're watching from. All right. I want to be able to acknowledge you as you come in so that you know that I can hear you, that we can hear you, and that we can see you. All right, y'all? You hear an echo. Okay. Let's see if we can fix that real quick. Because I do not, and I mean I do not want any interruptions with this podcast tonight. Y'all can keep on coming in. Keep on coming in. We're about to get started. I hope y'all ready. I hope y'all ready because it's about to go down. Listen, y'all don't understand. I have watched her for so long, and the way she does what she does is like none other. Okay, it's like medication. You understand what I'm saying to you? It's like let me shut my mouth because yeah. Let me shut my mouth because, baby, it's about to go down. All right, y'all. Let me go ahead and introduce this amazing, amazing woman that sits before you. Her name is Deidre Blue, the spoken word artist with a heavy hitting storytelling gift akin to brown liquor slow burn. From Pompano Beach, now residing in Tampa Bay. She is a student of North Miami's legendary Literary Cafe and Poetry Lounge under the mentorship of the late Will the Real One. Rest in peace, Will. She has been gracing spoken word stages since 2005, y'all. Listen, I'm talking about that's a long resume. Member of the Gorilla Spit Collective. You've seen her featured up and down the streets of up and down the East Coast from South Beach to West Palm Beach to Tampa and Orlando. Y'all, please give a very, very, very warm welcome to Miss Deidre Blues.
Hey, y'all. Thank you, Q, for having me here. I'm honored and I'm humbled that you would even consider to have little old me to participate in this wonderful movement you have going on here. Like you said, I'm just a poet from Pompano. And expressing myself through poetry is really one of the only things that makes sense to me. And since now I know that folks can't deal with me on the daily, just get your emotions in order to see me at least twice annually. Because if life lasts and my Lord be willing, I'm going to continue traveling with this writing, perfecting my craft with each mic I take. I do this for the pure love of it. So, what your problem is? Okay, yeah, so we got similar names. But trust me, that's the only thing that sounds the same. And because you was called up first, don't mean I'm copying your shit. So it ain't no need for no conflicts with your fake half smiling, your no eye contact. Bitch, fall back. Because it ain't that deep. And don't go acting like now you're trying to be buddies with me, because if you ain't a flat white sheet or filled to the brim with black or blue ink, then you and me just can't be friends. Hell, I got plenty of them. And don't get it twisted. The folks you see me dealing with are more like my constituents, and we politic about more than just politics. See, you're standing around with your mouth open, hoping to see some ammo you can use against me, slips off my lips, all while cutting your eyes off the way I slay. I got them same eyes turning green off this spoken wordplay. I peeped you and your buddy trying to shortchange me before I even hit the stage. Y'all can keep that change. I spend dubs any damn way. Got me wasting brain space and energy to address some haters. I will show the proof now. You'll be blinded by me later. And since the hottest part of any lighter's flame bears my name, the blues is what you'll get whenever you know I'm on roster to set fire to a stage. And some will say it's too early for you to express these views, that some equals you plus your bitch ass crew. I'm shell shocked. Can't believe an art form so pure breathes life in a sucker so tainted. And when you saw me walk on stage, you damn near fainted. Cause you was praying, let the copycat be anybody but this chick. Cause you can tell from my stature and stride, I'm not really one to F with, but don't let that be reason for you to change your reasons. From where I hail, it's summer all the time, homie. We don't change season. So don't be waiting for D to fall off or cool off. I stay blazing. Ask my folk why they be screaming for me to make it hot before I even start speaking. And speaking of speaking, let me briefly describe some of mine. My weakest sex line is harder than your strongest rhyme, so don't waste my time. Go ahead and add some cheese with your pathetic little wine. And if we never cross path again, baby, trust me, I'ma be just fine. I'm more than a woman. I'm a goddess, honey, standing right there in front of your best homie. And I'm a danger to the next brother's lady. Now you can call me conceited, selfish, self-righteous, or crazy. Don't matter which adjective you use. I will forever be Deidre the Blues. And since we've been properly introduced, now what the fuck you gonna do? Peace. You hate having the blues. So naturally you gotta hate Deidre Blues too. And a broken stereotype warned me about the hypocristians that be in these poetry venues, and I see you sliding and slithering like the snakes you are, making it hard for me to move with ease because I gotta pay too close attention to where I plant my feet. But then it dawned on me that I don't gotta be cautious of a damn thing, because you ain't nothing more than a rattlesnake with no venom and no fangs. You just shaking and hissing. So folks will take notice to your presence, because if not, they be oblivious to your existence. And so now you mad at me. Because without announcing my entrance, them folks you focused on and pressing start to speaking. And you've been here for hours now, haven't gotten more than one single greeting, but how when you standing there in plain view? Don't you know that it's hard for folks to see you when we can see right through you? Get some substance, some core to your being, hell, some meat on your bones, and then maybe you'll be considered a worthy contender. But until then, never mind your cute little monikers. I prefer to call you the great pretenders. because everything from your fake smile to your mock swagger got me pitying your mama to have birthed such a loser. A disappointment to the ancestry. That's why your daddy came up missing. Conceived off a quickie, Papa left even quicker, leaving you to learn and wonder early on as to which show to put on to make your situation seem better. It's amazing how folks will pretend to be family and your friends, but secretly wishing that you fail miserably, constantly performing. No audience, no stage, just caught in a daze, drowning in a sea of your own bullshit. A whirlwind of your deceptions, total confusion. You can't speak the truth because you unsure of who you told your lies to. And so now you hating on me because you keep trying to lead me, but I refuse to be your damn follower. And yeah, homeboy, I like your poetry, but that don't make me no damn groupie. And she can't believe I don't call her a whole bitch or trick, but instead call her my sister. Now witness me witnessing my honor. Not cocky, I'm cognizant that I'm more than a conqueror. From the pit of my soul to the soles of my feet, right to the tips of a shining synthetic crown and glory, fully figured and fit to withstand the stiff kicks of those like you who wish me to quit, but I can't. It's something in me that won't let me submit contradiction. I'm all female, but bet my balls are big enough to keep me trucking. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. So talk to me. Tell me what's good. The devil is busy, ain't he? He's trying to keep us disconnected. It's not gonna work. We're gonna get this together. That's all right.
Can you hear me now?
There you are.
Alrighty. Good God. You have got to be kidding me. You must be don't want to hear this word come out at all. Cause baby, this
Had to
good
get that.
evening, Deidre Blues. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I hope y'all enjoyed that spoken word, which was like an atom bomb, baby. I promise you I wasn't ready. I was not ready. Thank
Uh,
you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You guys show her some love right now. Show her some love. If you can, please put them hearts up, put them hearts up, and show Miss Deidre Blues some love. And before we get into the actual interview, I want to make an acknowledgement to the student that committed suicide yesterday morning um, at Fort Lauderdale High School. There was a live that I did about 2 or 3 days ago. I want to say maybe 2 days ago, when I referenced, you know, the significance of mental health and being able to access the help that's necessary for mental health. Listen to me, y'all. It's getting real out here. It's getting real out here. We're gonna need some help. So I'm asking that y'all can send up some prayers for the family of this young child, because they were in high school, that chose jumped from the actual top of the school, y'all. And there were a few students that were a witness to it. So we need to start getting in our prayer closets, y'all. And I don't mean to say it like it's cliche, but we really need to start praying. We need to start praying for our children. We need to start praying for ourselves, for our communities, for the nations. We have to come outside of selfish prayers and really start praying for each other, y'all. Seriously, because it's getting real out here. It really is. All right, so I'm going to dive into it really quickly. Deidre, the first question I have for you tonight is, what was the inspiration to your stage name?
Deidre is my given name.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the story my mother always told me is that that name came to her in a dream. She was looking for a name because she needed another D in the family. um, and the name came to her in a dream. And later on in my life, in young adulthood, I actually Googled the name. And it's an old Celtic Gaelic name,
Mm-hmm.
the original peoples of Ireland and Scotland, and it actually means Queen of Dreams and Sorrows.
Wow.
Um, so in finding my voice and trying to express myself and be my authentic self, I knew I needed to keep me, and because that name means so much. And
Yes.
blues is it's a play again on my mother. She was such a hero of mine. It's a play off her. She was a singer. Um, and within our family, she was known as our songbird. But she sang for the Lord. She was
Yes.
God's woman.
Yes.
Um, and so I always equate her to being the gospel. And personality wise, though she and I had our differences, um, um, I just likened myself to being the blues. And if you know anything historically about the blues as a music genre, how it was in such constant riff and upset quite a few people
Yes.
in the gospel genre. Um,
Yes.
it's a play on that. That's where that comes from. I chose Z at the end again because I'm the last born of my
Wow.
family. So it's it's a whole family thing with that, and it fits. Yeah,
No,
it
no,
fits
it
me.
really does. Because when you do spoken word, it gives me sultry vibes. It gives me roots. It gives me depth. It gives me Nina Simone. That's what it gives me, sis. It gives me Nina Simone. Like, and you know
That's a
what's so
huge
interesting?
compliment. I don't know about all of that. I appreciate the compliment, but Dina Simone,
Nina
uh,
Simone.
that's a
And you know
wonderful
what's
compliment.
so
Thank you.
interesting? Of course, you're welcome. You're welcome. What's so interesting is that people are not going to understand why I affiliate with everybody from everywhere. They're not going to understand that just because you have a perspective about something, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's God's perspective.
Mhm.
Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because your poem was raw. Your poem was, hey, it was real. It was rugged, but it was from your heart. You know, the church folks might have an issue because you may have said some choice words, but at the same
I meant to ask
time,
you about that too.
no, no,
Should I
no,
watch my mouth?
no, no, no. Listen, I'm
I
glad
hear
it
you.
went that way. Let me tell you why. I'm glad it went that way. I'm glad it went that way for the simple fact is you don't know who that poem may have reached just because you were unfiltered.
Mhm. Yeah.
Just because you were unfiltered. Just because you were able to be authentically you.
Mhm.
You don't know who you may have been able to reach with that.
Mhm.
So I appreciate it. I don't care who, what, when. Listen, I told you from the jump, I am not your ordinary apostle. I don't care about I don't care. I really don't, because what I want is for God to draw those that people have thrown away.
Mhm.
And because of that, I'm going to walk with people from all walks of life. Period.
Mhm.
Period. So I want to know really quickly, what was your why for engaging in spoken word?
My why. Um, I started writing when I was a teenager, when I had just gotten to high school. And truthfully, it was an assignment in a summer school class that I had taken my freshman year of high school. Never written a poem before then. So I had been like 14, almost 15 years old. And this old lady with this bad wig gave us this assignment in this summer school class. I'm just taking classes trying to be, a smarty pants and get up, leg up in this school year. And she tasked us with writing a poem. And I did, I did the
Yeah.
assignment. And then bringing it into class, uh, it was well received. She, made us recite them in front of the class. Never had spoken in front of a group before, but it was well received, and it made sense from that point on, coinciding with some things, because I'm old school, and
Mm-hmm.
I was brought up in the household where children are to be seen and not heard.
Yes.
So it was a lot of things that I was experiencing. And being the youngest of five in my mother's house, I'm the low man on the totem pole. So baby girl don't have too much of a say. We're not really gonna, and children are to be seen and not heard.
Not her.
So I was not permitted to speak freely.
Wow.
I wasn't given that space to just express without reprimand or ridicule. Um, And so pairing that with this assignment, from this stranger who said, tell me what you think and what you feel, um, it makes sense. So that was my original why.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can do this. Like I can actually, I'm not allowed to say it at home. So let me go ahead and get this black and white little composition, the composition books that everybody
Yeah.
used to have. I had those in school. It's like, let me go ahead and get one of these and just write down everything that I think I feel, everything I think I might feel in this little black and white book. And people wanted to hear it, which was
Right.
new. That was new. Like, I didn't come from that.
Right.
Nobody really cared too much about what I thought or felt about things. Nobody really came to me and said, baby girl, what you think about this? Or how do you feel about this? But when I wrote it down, as you said, unfiltered,
Mm-hmm.
and people reading it was like, wow, I didn't know you had that in you. Well, yeah, it's a lot in me. I just wasn't, allowed to
Allowed.
fly.
Okay, so let me ask you a
And
question. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off,
oh,
but
go ahead. Go ahead.
this is interesting to me because I think even what you're saying right now is so important.
Mhm.
Because whether y'all know it or not tonight, like for me, this is about mental health, point blank and period. But from the perspective of what is the resolution, what is the source, what is the problem, what is the issues, and in listening to this podcast tonight, I pray to God that you can find yourself in one of our stories, whether it's mine or whether it's hers. So, Deidre, what I want to know is you not being able to express yourself fully,
Mhm.
unfiltered, and being seen and not heard. What did that do to you internally?
Um, it's actually something I'm working with my therapist with.
Wow.
What that did was it made me invisible. I can articulate it now as an adult that that's what the feeling was. Um, but when I back then, I didn't have the vocabulary. I didn't have the lived experience or the mental and emotional capacity to say those things. I
Yes.
felt invisible. I felt like my existence um, was there just to be a place filler, placeholder,
Wow.
not really having any true value to anything, just to be there for the sake of being there. So Deidre didn't have any real identity. She didn't have
Wow.
a voice. She didn't know what to think. And the things that she did think, she didn't trust them.
Wow.
Um, that's what that did. That's what that did. And I can say that now. And you'll hear that throughout my work. I was just going over this. It's like the freedom, and it's so like God is so great because
Yes, it is.
I didn't know that your podcast was called Freedom Fridays. It just didn't occur to me. And a friend of mine, she was doing her master's thesis, and she was tasked to interview people from different backgrounds. And one of the things that she said in her that I wasn't even aware that I was saying it, but she brought it to my attention. She says, everything that you say and have said has been about freedom. Are you aware that you speak a lot about freedom? Though I don't actually say the word freedom,
Right.
the things that I think, the way that I progress in my life is about becoming free,
Yes.
mind, body, spirit, soul, to be free, and I don't know. I just went off on a tangent with that,
No,
but
no, no. Take your
that's
time and be free, sis.
it. Just is it's it's divine, you know, design this way. Um, yeah, I didn't have that when I was a child. I didn't have the freedom, and it took me a very long time. The freedom to just be me. We hear a lot of people saying being their authentic selves, being unapologetically themselves. That language didn't exist when I was a kid. That
Right.
that thought process didn't exist when I was, late teens, early 20s. It didn't exist. Now that it does, it makes a lot of sense as to where I was and why my life's journey progressed the way that it did.
Hmm.
It's just about being free.
Yes.
It really is.
And there's something that you said that really resonated with me. You said that you were able to verbalize it now,
Mhm.
which means as a child, you were not able to verbalize it. And a lot of times, not all of the times, but most of the time, when a person struggles mentally, emotionally, it's because they're unable to identify what's going on with them verbally. They can't give a voice to what they're thinking or what they're feeling. So what happens is the voice stays within,
Mhm.
but it gets really loud.
Mhm.
But it sounds like gibberish.
Mhm.
And what happens is over time, it just gets louder and louder until that voice begins to drive you insane.
Mhm.
And then a lot of times, children lash out. Children have behavioral issues. Children have dissociative personalities, which means they detach.
Mhm.
They can't connect. They can't, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? They can't have relationships with
Mhm.
other people. They can't intertwine. They have, what they call it, oh my goodness, there's a word for this. Oh my goodness, what is this word? They stay within. There's a word for it though. Some people are very outgoing. Some people are very.
Introverted.
Introverted, that's the word. They're very introverted because they don't know how to express how they feel.
Mhm.
And I really feel like it's very important to those of you that are watching that have children to understand that you have to allow your children to have a voice. I'm not saying to allow them to be disrespectful by any means,
Right. Right.
but allow them to just express. Like today, me and my daughters had a date, right? Just went, real simple. But I told them, I say, okay, today is y'all mental health day, right? Y'all can get away with whatever y'all want to say, but only for today. I'm not mommy right now. You my dog right now. And right now, I'm going to allow you to just say whatever because it's a skill. I'm
Mhm.
trying to give them the ability to identify how they feel
Mhm.
so that as they get older and become adults, they don't suppress that stuff, man. That stuff really produces toxic energy
Mhm. Yep.
and it starts to show up in every area of your life. And you wonder why, as an adult, you acting crazy, doing crazy
Mhm.
stuff. Or you wonder why kids that are 13, 14 years old are committing suicide.
Mhm. Yep. What that
So,
does too is it creates an environment um, for these young people and people in general, adults as well, to um, isolate themselves.
yes,
And so when you feel cut off, like it's just you, it's only you. And
yes,
I got to be crazy for thinking this. I got to be crazy for feeling this. It's just me. It's not just you. And one thing that I truly believe that we as a community, as a Black community, and as a global community have gotten away from the truth that we are all connected. We are not alone on this journey, though we are required to travel it alone.
yes, that's
Two,
good.
just you and your 2 feet, but you are not by yourself. Um, and that's part of why I make a conscious effort to speak so plainly. Um, I stay away from multisyllabic words, colorful imagery, and feathery, poetic. These really involve nuances that follow poetry and spoken word. Stay away from that because I am talking to that 35-year-old woman who was still the 14-year-old kid
Come on.
whose mama told her, you just sit there and be seen.
Wow.
Talking to that 16-year-old boy, none of the girls like me. So I must be X, Y, and Z and all these negative. I'm talking to you, brother. You're
Yes.
not those things. You know what I mean? Like we carry those things. We all know about these childhood traumas that follow us. Um, that's one of the things that I've been tasked with while dealing with my own shit.
Yeah.
It's like, so we have to get away from that. Um, and I honestly feel I don't know what that child was thinking, what they were feeling, what they were going through. But the failure is that that child was up there alone,
Yes.
feeling alone.
Yes.
And that step was the best thing that that child could do. We got to do better about taking care of each other so that it gives permission for us to take care of ourselves.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, the next question is, what obstacles did you have to overcome to become such an amazing spoken word artist?
Did you write this question? Where are you getting these questions from?
Hey, hey. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know about
I
that
finished.
amazing part. I'm just Deidre. I'm just a poet from Pompano. Um, Obstacles. Um, Fear of speaking in public. Actually, um, that is not. It took me a long time. I was in my 30s when I finally was okay with speaking in public.
Wow.
Um, and it was Will the real one. Like, who told me that? He was like, when you get up there, he's like, you don't realize the gift you have
Thank
when
you.
you speak. You don't realize it. So the thing that I struggled with, reverting back to those childhood things that I was just carrying with me, I would shrink myself
Yes.
with these words that I read. And it was constantly, I would, I would sign up for the open mic. I would be on that list to feature, but the moment I step in front of that mic, I went back to that little kid that's just supposed to be seen,
And
not
not her.
heard. And if you're gonna
Yes.
speak, make sure it's tactful, it's respectful, and mind your tone and remember your manners. So I would shrink myself. And it's like, but I don't always feel like being polite. I don't
Yes. It's
always
true.
I know the voice that I have now. It's not buttery, it's not soft. I have a hard voice. And don't get me to yelling or get me talking about something I'm passionate about, right? It gets really, it gets really gritty. And I
Yes.
understand that about my voice. And he had to tell me that. He kept telling me that. For years, he kept telling me that. You don't realize the power you have. Speak up. Lift your chin and speak up. We can't hear you. He would
Mm.
always say that to me. I'm like, all right. And I thought he was just, being a big brother ragging on me. But it was like, I think he may have something, I think he may have a point to this.
Right.
And then I learned that I'm up there for a reason. Like, you asked me to be in the building tonight because you wanted to hear and you felt that your audience needed
Wanted
to
to
hear.
hear.
Right. So it's like, why would you shrink yourself?
My
Why would
God.
you do that to yourself? Right? I mean, if you're uniquely and wonderfully made, why would you shrink yourself? Whose image are you created in? And how dare you think you have the right to shrink yourself created in such image?
My God. That's deep.
It's like, yeah, those were my
Wow.
obstacles. Those are my obstacles. And again, I don't know about all that amazing, all of that stuff.
No,
I'm
but
just
you
Deidre.
are. You
And
are.
I
You are. You
just
your
Deidre.
voice is like one that's crying out from the wilderness. Like I'm trying to find the words and it's hard. And it's so interesting because even as adults, because of the things that happen to us as children, especially when we feel like we're not good enough,
Mhm.
we continue to shrink ourselves.
Mhm.
Like something as simple as me saying how amazing you are.
Yeah.
And you keep throwing it back at me. You
And
keep
you're
throwing
not,
it
and
back
then
at me.
I appreciate that, and I really do. And in all honesty, that um my rejection of that is not, it's not rooted in me shrinking myself. It
Okay.
is, it's me remembering that it ain't about me. It's not me. Thank you for the
Okay.
wonderful compliment. I
That's
appreciate the
good.
love and the respect, but it ain't me. Deidre don't have that in her. That comes from somewhere else, from whom my help comes from.
Come on.
The way it's imparted on me and the compulsion to write it and to speak it, it's not me, because if it was up to Deidre, I would be in the bed. I
Hello.
wouldn't be here on this podcast, right?
Me
I
either.
would be I would be tucked away somewhere. So it's not Deidre. It's not me. I'm quite honestly just a vessel. I really
Yes.
am.
Yes.
I really am. And I am so grateful that God trusts me and doesn't require me to be anything other than me. He know I got a filthy mouth. He knew that. He know. I'm just being honest. He knows that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I address him with deference and I watch my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Say what you got to say to remind my people. However it comes out, kid, say whatever you have to say
To remind my people.
to remind my people.
Wow.
That's all it is. Honestly.
So, and it's so interesting that the one thing that keeps ringing is that, because you said it again, like the things that take place in our childhood, and I have to keep saying this for somebody that's watching, because I feel like somebody that's watching is questioning why they are the way they are. They're questioning, like, why is my reaction like this? Why is my response like this? Why do I think like this? Why do I feel like this? Why do I talk like this? Why is my mouth so filthy? Jesus. Could it be that maybe you were so suppressed? Oh, that's good. Could it be that maybe you didn't have a voice, and now that you have one, you want the whole world to hear it? And now that you have one, you're not gonna let nobody filter it ever again. Like sometimes we judge too quick.
Hmm.
That's why I said what I said in the beginning of this podcast. That I know the Saints gonna try to get in my inbox and give me some backlash, and I'm ready. I've been ready. I promise I am. But my thing is, we be so quick to just over spiritualize everything, not knowing that there is a method to God's madness. Not knowing that maybe if you just open your mind up just a little bit, you might learn something. You might receive something. You might get some help just by listening
Hmm.
instead of being so holy.
Hmm.
Lord, let me get off this because
No, no, you keep going.
I'm so serious. Like I was just watching
Yeah.
something the other day, and it was something similar to this. There was two people being interviewed. One person was a minister, and one person wasn't. And the one person that wasn't was very, you know, candid. That's the word I'm gonna use. We're gonna use the word candid tonight. They were so candid, and then you had all the saints in the comments. Oh, you going to hell? Oh, how could you this and how could you this? But there were other people that were watching that
Hmm.
never seen the church walk.
Right.
But that person that was being candid was helping them get free, Deidre.
Right.
So
Right.
what is it? Because the church folks wasn't helping. You understand what I'm saying? But
I
God
do.
used, the Bible says God used the ass,
The lowliest of creatures.
a burning bush. God gonna
Hmm.
use who he want to use. Anyway, I went off on that time. Let me go ahead and move right along. What's the one thing you wish people knew that you struggle with? And before you answer that question, I'm asking from the perspective everybody just sees the gift.
Right.
They see the spitfire. They see the melodic words. They see the artistry. They see whatever they see when they see Deidre Blues hit a stage and open up her mouth and release pure fire, right? But oftentimes, people that are extremely gifted have struggles that are unspoken.
Hmm.
So, what are some things that I'm gonna give you an example. For me, people a lot of times come to me to pour. You understand what I'm saying? They want me to pour into them
Hmm.
and give them an encouraging word or give them a strategy, a tool, something. Talk them off the ledge. You understand what I'm saying? And there's sometimes when I just wish I can lay in my bed and just be cute. Because I'm struggling that day. And
Right.
sometimes I have to put to the side how I feel, what I'm going through, my own struggles, to be Apostle Q.
Mhm.
And I wish that people knew that I struggle too. I wish that people knew that sometimes I want to give up too. I wish that people knew that sometimes I get hopeless. Jesus got hopeless.
Mhm.
So, what is something that you wish people knew that you struggle with outside of being Deidre Blue?
Anxiety
Wow.
and PTSD.
Wow.
It takes quite a bit to even write my poems. One of
Wow.
the things that I do struggle with in writing is honesty. There are things that I've lived through by the grace of God that I'm not ready to write about.
Wow.
And they follow me. They sit right on my shoulders. And my therapist always says how powerful I am. It's one of the first things that she said to me. She says, "You are so powerful." And I'm in tears, you know. And I got to sit here and tell this story because I'm naturally an introvert. And I got to sit here and talk to this strange lady and tell her all my business. And I'm in tears and I'm ripped up about this. And the first thing she says to me is that you're powerful. I'm like, this lady out of mind. I don't got time to sit here and listen to this.
Wow.
Like, you're powerful. You really are, even through your tears. It's very honest and powerful. And it took me a long time to settle with that, to
Wow.
understand the power. And that comes from the realization that it's not me. Because Deidre is anxious. Deidre has many triggers. Deidre
Come
doesn't
on
like
here.
speaking. She don't like speaking in public.
Wow.
She is an
Come.
introvert to the highest degree. I get burnt out with too many energy. I'm empathic, so I pick up on people's energy, and it that shit drains me. Where I have to go retreat to my house and be disconnected for 3 4 days.
Come on.
These are the things that I live with. Plus my varied, interesting sojourn through my life thus far. I mean, you hear people say, you forget it. I don't have any regrets about my life. I also don't forget my life. I know where I've
Wow.
been,
That's
what
good.
I've
That's
been
good.
through, and I don't forget those things. I carry all of those things with me when I step on the stage. I'm sitting with those things. All of those things are sitting around my house as I'm at my table at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning,
Wow.
writing out this poem because I can't sleep. Like, that's the artistry. That's the calling. That's the gift. Because the spirit will come and sit on my pillow. You need to get up and write this poem. We got stuff we need to talk about. I'm not ready to do that just yet. Okay, we'll try this one. And
Mm.
we'll sit and nag me until I get that poem out, knowing I got to be to work at 9 o'clock. You know what I mean? Like, those
Yeah.
are the things that I don't think people really understand about me. Like you said, the amazing poet, and you spit this fire. I mean, that fire started as a little teeny tiny spark, barely a spark, that was almost stamped out.
Wow.
Yeah, it was almost completely extinguished. So I am not mincing words. I am not code switching for them people or them good church folk. I'm not doing it. because what my God has brought me through,
Come on
there
here.
there is somebody else going through, and they don't feel like they can make it. Trying
Yes.
to figure
Thank
out,
you.
honey, listen, if he can bring my little old raggedy self through it, it's gonna be a cakewalk for you to get through it.
Listen.
Because I didn't deserve to be here.
Listen. Listen.
Those are the things that I struggle with. Trying to reconcile. Why do you care so much about me, Jesus? Why? Of all the things that I've done, consciously done, made conscious, it wasn't anything forced. I made the decision to do those things, to say those things, to be in those
Literally.
places. And yet and still, he said, you know what, kid? I got work for you to do. And now he comes and wakes me up 2:30, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning to write poems so I can talk to somebody else.
In
Say it
spite of
however
you.
you need to say it, in spite of me. Say it
Listen.
however it come out. I told you he know my mouth. He know. However you need to say it, say it. Remind my people, because I did it for you. Remind them, because they don't seem to think that I'm the same God, the same miracle worker. I'm the same one. They seem to forget that.
Wow.
Be the example. Talk to them. Say it in a language that they can understand. Okay. Whatever you say, Lord, I will show up. I will make sure I'm ready. Those are the things that I struggle with. And still trying to be a good person and be a good sibling and help these people and be the best auntie and smile and meet the girls for lunch. Like
Being
all of these
stretched
things.
so thin.
Yeah.
Being
And it's
stretched.
no different. It's no different than any other human. I
Yes.
mean, there's there I said this to you when you asked me to be a part. I don't have any great insights into navigating life. I all I can do is tell you how I made it.
Mm-hmm.
If it helps, great. If not, we can brainstorm some ideas. I don't know, if it'll be a resolution, but I can listen. Remind you ain't by yourself.
Mm-hmm. 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 And it's a sound. It's a sound. Greatness, there's a price. There's a price to it. Like there's a price to greatness. In other words, you literally have to be able to carry your cross and still be great. Like she literally just told you, and she has hit some really serious platforms, y'all. Trust me, what I'm telling you. She's hit some really, I want to say big stages. I really do. I want to say big stages. She's rubbed shoulders, rubbed shoulders. Excuse me, rubbed shoulders with some very intricate people. She's listen, and you would never know. I would, because this is my first time ever finding this out. Like I would never know just by looking at her or looking at you that you have these kind of struggles. But it's so comforting to know that someone with such an enormous gift is just like me,
Yeah.
struggle just like me, have the same issues or similar. That it's a sound to me that says, if she can do it, I can do it. If she could show up and make it look good, I can do it.
Yeah.
If she could pick up her cross, I could pick up my cross. If she could navigate through her dark spaces and still show up as light, I could do it. I could do it. And if I could do it, you could do it. Whoever's watching and you feel like there's no hope for you, you are
Oh God.
sitting with two individuals that have seen the darkest of darks.
Yeah.
I promise you. And if we could do it, and mind you, we didn't do it alone.
Mhm.
Trust me, what I'm telling you, we didn't do it alone. It was by the grace of God that a lot of times carried us over the threshold.
Yeah. Yeah.
We came tonight to give you some kind of hope. We came tonight to give you some kind of relief from the prison that you have yourself in, trapped inside of your mind, convincing yourself that there is no hope. The devil is a liar. Listen,
Mhm.
you can still have struggles and still be great. As a matter of fact, I feel like that's the prerequisite. It's
Yeah.
it's almost like it goes hand in hand. It's one and the same. You have to have struggles in order to be great, especially when you've been chosen by God.
Mhm. It's a line in one of my poems that it says, being great don't equate to things being easy.
Ooh,
I said, Lord, I don't know where you got that from, but that is the truth. And I try to tell people that we have struggles.
yeah.
Um, and that's one of the tests that your soul is sound and that your purpose is
Mm,
great and that God has destined things for you is because you are battling these trials like this. Like it just don't make any sense. Like even tonight with the technical difficulties. Like,
Still, right now,
it's
technical
working fine.
difficulties.
It was working fine before we went live. And then all of a sudden, it just
Went
ain't
left.
working. It's something moving here, and
Yes.
there is an opposing force trying to stop it. God's will is greater.
Yes.
There is no demon in hell that can stop it. I don't care how hard you try.
Come on.
Um, that's my testimony. That's why
Okay.
I'm still here.
Yeah. So let me ask you, because it's actually a tool that I use for myself and for my clients. Um, would you say that writing is a means to cope or a way to cope? Would you say it's therapeutic?
Absolutely.
Why? Why would you say that?
Period. Absolutely. It goes back to the isolation idea that I spoke about. When you're talking about how people feel like it's just them. I got to be crazy for thinking this. I got to be stupid or all these other terrible things we internally say to ourselves. Navigating those dark spaces, combating those negative thoughts. The writing process, God, I love you, Will. Another thing he always said was write it out. I would
Yes.
text him and get the fussing and complaining about this ain't going this way. And he would always say to me, baby, just write it out because it gets it off you.
Yeah, come on.
It gets it out of your spirit. So it's not weighing you down. We know all about energies and matching energies and all of that. And you carry this cloud around you of this negative stuff that's weighing you down. Writing gets it off of you.
Yes.
And it's not always a negative thing. It could just be a nagging thought about a business idea or a love lost or a new love found, whatever the case may be. It gets it off you to free you up to be present for your life. So you're not sitting there soaking in this stuff. it's a plan of action. Maybe not a
Mm.
plan of action for me, but maybe it's a plan of action for, the young sister that's sitting in the back of the venue trying not to be seen. Or
Mm-hmm.
the young brother that's in the front decked out, but knowing he's having those thoughts. The only reason he's out tonight is so that he don't do that thing or walk off the top of a building.
Come on.
So
Whew.
it's a plan of action. I like that. Thank you. I like that. It's a plan of action. It's a way of getting it off, writing
Yes.
it down. It becomes a mission statement so that I can be present for what it is that I'm called to do. So I can
Absolutely.
show maybe somebody else. Okay, hey, listen, you don't have to be great. You don't have to be a Pulitzer Prize, Tony Award winning writer. If it gets it off of your spirit, off weighing you down, go for it. Write it down. I encourage anybody to do that. Save me. Gave me some place to go. Maybe it can do that for somebody else.
You said something that was important. You said it gets it off of you. Because a lot of the times, going back to the beginning of what we were talking about earlier, when we learn how to suppress, because we're supposed to be seen and not heard, when we learn how not to express and we just learn to stuff it, it stays there. It don't
Mhm.
go nowhere. As you get older, it grows with you. And not
Mhm.
only does it stay there, it gets bigger. Why? Because another life experience happens and you stuff that too. And then another life experience happens and you stuff
Yeah.
that too.
And it just keeps piling
Piling
up, piling. It's like a
and
weed.
piling.
You know how those weeds grow around and it just sucks the life out of a plant, and
Yes.
you actually have to hack it off and then get down to the roots and rip that joint out, maybe set it on fire. That's what we do with these things that we can't express. We hold them in, and they become those weeds, and they start sucking the life out, sucking the
My God.
joy out of us, out of sucking the peace. My mind is right. Why is your mind racing? Why can't you think? Why are you having issues? It's stuff in there sucking the life out of you. It's
Come
keeping
on.
you from being present. That's what writing did for me. That's what it still does for me. I can put it there.
Mm.
If I can't call my siblings, I know they got lives, they got families and kids and spouses and all of this other stuff. If I can't call on them, I can always call on my pen and my paper. I
Yeah.
have an endless supply of pens and paper. Grab my King James Bible, my notebook, and see what happens. And just
Yes.
start writing, even if you don't know what to actually write. Just start with the alphabet. Start writing those 26 letters, and you'll be amazed at everything that will follow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you ain't catch it, y'all literally just got some free game. Like when you get to a space where you feel like you're suffocating and there's no one that you can call on and there's no one accessible to you, you better get you a paper and pen and start writing, because that feeling of suffocation is literally your body trying to expel whatever toxic energy has that's been festering
Mhm.
and festering. It's trying to get rid of it. It's trying to bring it to the surface so that you can release it.
Release it.
And
Mhm.
sometimes you can't, there is nobody available.
Right.
Sometimes there's nobody that you can call on. Sometimes people going through their own stuff.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's hard to pray. Thank you, Lord. Sometimes you can't even utter the word.
Mhm.
But let me tell you something. It's something about when you start writing.
Mhm.
Writing to me is so spiritual. Like the words just begin to flow. Even if it starts, even if you start off with gibberish, like it just, I don't know what I'm writing right now. But all of a sudden, that pen get the flowing,
Mhm.
and those unspoken words begin to speak. Hear me clearly. And before you know it, you begin to feel lighter. And it sounds like, like it might sound corny. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? It might even sound cliche, but when I tell you that we have so many tools that are available to us to relieve some of this stress that is driving us insane,
Yeah.
to relieve the pressure, to give us a release, man. Like this stuff is available and we're not paying attention to it because like we be focusing on everything else.
Hmm.
I said this on my last live. We literally focus on everything that's external, and the mind is dissipated.
Yeah.
It's being destroyed, and we don't even know it. And we wondering why everything else around us is going to hell in a handbasket. It's because whatever you got on the inside of you is called the karmic wound or karmic wounds. Because some of us have multiple. Whatever you
Okay.
got going on the inside of you, whatever energy you got, I know from experience. You hear me? This ain't what I learned in no book. Whatever you got going on the inside of you, that's what you exude.
Project. Yes.
That's what you project.
Yeah.
And that same energy that you project is a magnet for the same energy. That's how you can have the same experience with a different face or the
That's
same experience in a different place. Or you can move 50 times and still go through the same thing because it's the energy field. It's the see. Okay, let me say it so that the church folks can understand. It's them spirits. Deidre, pray for me, please. Pray that God just pray for me. It's them spirits. It's those negative spirits. It's an energy field. It's a force field, and it's real. It's you might not be able to see it, but it's real, and it affects your everyday life.
hmm
And God cares about you so much that He provides tangible things for you to apply so that you can get free from this stuff. You don't have to be going crazy. There
right.
is a peace. Listen to me. You're talking about somebody that only knew chaos.
Hmm.
Period. There is a peace that passes all understanding. In other words, there is a level of peace that you can find in God that don't make no sense.
Right.
I said all that to say, even if you got to go to the playback, man, and catch these tools that's being dropped, these gems that's being dropped, you better catch them and apply it. I'm just
Hmm.
saying. I'm just saying. Okay, this is my last question. I promise you I ain't gonna harass you no more tonight. Okay. If you could tell your 18-year-old self something, what would it be? And before you answer that question, whoever is watching, I want you to answer the same question. For as a matter of fact, write it down. As Deidre begins to tell us her answer, give us her response. I want you to write yours down. If you could tell your 18-year-old self something, what would it be?
18-year-old Deidre. Honey, I would tell you,
Hey God.
I would tell her a lot of things, but most, um, what you think, what you feel is valid.
Yes.
The opinions of others, including those of your mother, your father, your two brothers, your two sisters, host of aunts and uncles. Don't matter.
Mm.
I would tell her, hey, fuck what they think.
Mm.
It's your life. Be what you want to be, not what you think they want you to be. What they think ain't none of your business.
Mm.
Baby girl, I know they love you. I know they'll show up and support you. They are the ones who taught you to hate yourself.
Mm.
Ain't nothing wrong with you. Fuck them. Love them. Fuck them. You'll be all right. That's what I would tell her.
Woo! Woo! LMG. Mm. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. And some other things.
Yeah.
That's the big one. It took
Yeah.
me a long time thinking about my life. It took me a long time to get to that point. I know my family loves me and I love them dearly. You called me, I'm there. That's just what we do. You need me, I will make myself available. That's what we do. But I'm not living my life for you. And I don't expect you or anyone else to live your life for me. I love you. I support you. I encourage you. I keep you in my prayers every day. When I wake up and when I go to sleep.
Mm.
But how you think I should be ain't none of my business. And vice versa.
Right.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That moment just got real deep. And it's so interesting that outside my window right now, fireworks are going off.
For
That's
what?
so interesting. I have no as soon as you started talking, fireworks just started to go off. And they're still, I don't know if you can hear them, but they're still going off
Come on now,
right now.
Q.
I promise you. I wish I could move so I could take you outside with me so you can hear it. I promise you they're going off right now. That's bananas. And I first of all, I want to commend you because it takes courage to do what you just did. See, that's actually a tool that I use when I have to do my sessions with my clients because what it does is it constitutes healing to the wounded child that's still wounded. You know what I'm saying? It validates that child that's still alive within us. I do it on a daily basis. Like for me, if I could tell my 18-year-old self something, it would be that you are worth it
Mhm.
and that you're beautiful and that you are loved and that you're not the garbage on the bottom of somebody's shoe and that you don't deserve to be abused and that you're not crazy and that you're special. And you don't have to settle for somebody that's not going to love you properly just to have somebody to love.
Well, that's
That
a
you're
poem.
amazing. Yeah. Yeah. There's so much. My 18-year-old self, you're not stupid.
Right.
There's so much value in you. Don't give up on yourself. Don't take them bottle of pills. There's so much.
Hmm.
There's so much. It's something about when you affirm the person within you that is still wounded. It brings healing. Listen, y'all getting all kind of free game. Y'all getting all kind of free game. And I hope that someone is actually taking heed. I don't care if it's one person. If this was just for one person and we managed to intercept the plan of the enemy for one person, we managed to give somebody hope tonight.
Please, God. Just
We were allowed and graced to keep from somebody from turning the lights off and just giving up on life, then our job is done, sis.
yeah.
Our job is done. I thank you so much for being so transparent. Because what you don't know is that listening to you was healing for me. It helped me to reflect on some areas that I didn't even realize
Mhm.
affect me in my own life. Like,
Thank you.
thank you for the courage of bearing your soul. Thank you for the courage you have for every moment you persevere. Oh God, don't you start, Lord. Thank you
Child.
for hoping against hopelessness. Only you know what that means. And you are so significant. And I pray that your voice is heard across the world. I'm
I
so
don't need
sick.
the word. I
Yeah, but
have
the
no
world
ego.
needs you.
They can come find me. I'll be right here. I don't need that word.
I hear you, sis, but when I say a lot of people need to hear what you gotta say. Thank you, Lord, when you finally get to that place, and I believe it's gonna come soon. When you finally get to that place when you can confront that one thing you don't want to write,
Hmm.
it's gonna unleash rivers of living
You
water.
see me shifting, right? That made me uncomfortable. Gee, whew, just the thought of that just makes me uncomfortable.
And
I
maybe
ain't quite there yet, sis.
I know, but maybe it's not for anybody to hear.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe it's just for you to, like you said, get it out so that it can unlock whatever is under there, like whatever's suppressed up under there.
I tell you what that is. It's it's the flesh. It's the human that I am. Part of the reason that I struggle so much with going that deep with myself. I was there. I lived through those things,
Yes.
but it's in the past. It's not my present reality. And writing it down makes it concrete. It
Help me, Holy
makes it
Ghost.
real again. Because if I write it down, I can't ever say that I forgot it again.
Mm.
I can go through tomorrow not having thought about those things, not the details, not reliving those feelings and those
Yes.
thoughts. I can forget about it. I can occupy myself with being of service to somebody else or whatever. When I write it, I can't never forget it again. It's right
Mhm.
there. And I will always know where it is. Even if I set it on fire, I know exactly where it is.
Mighty God.
That's that's one of the things I'm working with. I'm trying to be better about that. But that's one of the things. I can forget it and say, "Oh, I don't know where I put those feelings. They back here somewhere." Put it on paper. I know exactly where I put it. So I can't ever
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
say I don't know where it is. That's one of those things. And it
That's
scares the
deep.
shit out of me. It
That's
really,
deep.
truly does. It really does.
I totally get it
That's
though.
one of the things I'm working on.
I totally
That's
get
one of the things that I'm working on to get free. That's what I'm working on. If I can get there and stop being so damn stubborn and hard headed.
But I don't think it's you being hard headed. I think it's
Oh, it is. It is.
but what if it's the fear of having to confront those feelings again? Like that feeling of breaking.
Yeah, yeah. That's child. That's a few therapy sessions away. I'm building up to that, sis. We ain't we
I
ain't
got you.
quite got
All
there
right.
yet.
All right.
We
Conversation
ain't quite
over.
there yet. You
I got you.
you
I
right
got you.
though. You are
I got
right.
you.
But that's a
Yeah.
that's a
But I
session
get it
down.
though.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Well, I thank you once again for gracing me. You talk about me gracing you. Thank you for gracing me tonight and come and
Can I
join in
end with a
little old me. Say it again.
Can I end with a poem?
Yes, of course. Of course. Hold on. As a matter of fact, let me put you on front stage. Wait a second.
Thank you all so much. Diamond in the Rough International. Apostle Q, I love you, sis. Thank you so much for having me. Um, I am Deidre Blues. You can find me social media platforms. Blues with a Z, no A's in my name. I wanted to end this poem because this is one of the hardest pieces that I wrote thus far. Um, and with God's grace, it'll be of help to somebody. Maybe give you a different perspective, maybe some peace or some hope. I don't know. Um, but it's called Still Here. And at first year, the devil tried his damnedest to kill me, had me clinging to the seductions and the destructions I was used to, knowing I felt way too comfortable swimming in liquor bottles and gorging on pills, selling my goods for cheap. Giving away my pearls was much too easy, and you can never tell just by looking at me. But I know what it is to have nothing, to literally be starving, to stare into a looking glass, not recognize my own reflection, to be standing in a crowded room, but to still feel lonely. Having my faith tested daily had me stuck, much too consumed with what the strangers would approve. And in year two, the devil made his move when he sent his minions to evict me from the only home that I knew. Now picture me homeless, sleeping on the street or on the couch of any soul who would let me. And all I had to eat was a packet of crackers I had swiped from a Wendy's, bathing at truck stops, patrolling the blocks, letting zombies abuse me, a transient derelict holding on to what little I had left of me. I couldn't do much living because I was too afraid to die until I watched my mother laying cold after what they swore to me would be a simple surgery. It broke my heart to think it took for her to die for her to finally learn peace, and for 8 months to pass and to have them savages steal my inspiration from me. stolen on the night he claimed as his own. On the steps in front the place he never fully reaped all that he sold. I received that news in a text. And as the blood drained from my face, I could only scream, my God, what's next? And for 6 weeks later, my spiritual father, my pastor, went to meet our maker. You talk about a faith shaker. See, I was convinced the devil was winning in his attempts to do me in, but just then, I felt a life brewing within, trying to reassure me that with every end comes a new beginning. Life had taken root unexpectedly, and I was determined to nurture that soul vigorously, but ultimately, my temple rejected the seed in a cosmic attempt to see just how much it would take to break me. And as I lay comatose and shrouded in doubt, the sun came out. Then I remembered that the sun not only fell, but it was his rising that gave me life. And so now I dare you demons to try and force my demise. I'm backed by a shine that does more than fuel a grind. His perfection lives in my persistence. Try to convince me that I'm overly confident because I speak with grace and walk with distinction, but this is bigger than my perceived persona. This is about my exit and entrance. I'm trying to live a life worth celebrating after my expiration, to make amends for the lives that I took part in destroying. So I'm not wasting precious moments dwelling on complaints. And I am no longer hindered by your man made restraints. Left who you were comfortable with in yesteryear, had lunch with my fear, and evicted that bastard from here. Yeah, I've been chewed up and spit out, but I am still here, just as steadfast and sturdy as the oak you tried to swing me from. So try as you may, but trust me when I say my purpose surpasses your understanding. See, the cross has already been carried for me. And since the heavy lifting is done and that noose is loose from my neck, with each calculated step, I'm fleeing from your company. You have nothing that I need. Not your hate, not your praises, not your help, nor your apology. It took for me to become a victim to finally walk into my victory. Now, be it spoken or written, I'm using every gift I've been given. And if that happens to offend, well, then my mission is accomplished because I'd rather ask for your forgiveness than to beg for your permission. I'm still here. Peace.
Whew. Whew, whew. Well, after that, y'all, there's really nothing left to say. I love you.
I love you.
Listen, y'all, if y'all want to book Deidre for shows, for events, for spoken word, please follow her right now. Deidre Blues Pony. Deidre Blues Pony. You will see her name highlighted in a lot of my posts with the flyer with her and I on it. I'm trying to gather my thoughts and my words and keep from crying. I'm sorry. Um, yeah, yeah. I think the part that got me the most was when you said, oh, taking a part of destroying lives. Like, that's the realest thing I ever heard in my life, and I resonate with it. It's one thing when we can talk about the things that we've done or people have done to us. It's a whole nother thing to be brave enough to talk about the things that you've done to people. Mighty God. All right, y'all. I got to end this live, but I cannot end it without offering somebody the opportunity to meet a God that is so amazing that he will love you in spite of you with your filthy rag. Woo!
Thank you, Lord.
Lord, I thank you. Lord, I thank you. If you want to experience unconditional love, and I'm not going to go here, I'm talking to the ones that have inflicted pain on others. He loves you too. He said he came to save the whole world. And the whole world is not in church. Listen to me. I'm talking to the rapist. I'm talking to the murderer. I'm talking to the liar, the idolater, the adulterer. I'm talking to you. The one that feels like you are so unlovable because of the things that you have done. Please receive this extended hand from a God whose love will cover everything you could have ever done. If you want to experience a love that never changes, never wavers, never bends, and never breaks, say this prayer with me. Sis, if you can help me say this just to give people the extra push just in case they're a little scared to walk through this door. But you know what? Can't nobody see you. That's the good part. Can't nobody see you. Please say this with me. Lord Jesus,
Jesus,
I believe in my heart.
I believe in my heart
I confess with my mouth
and confess with my mouth
that you are my Lord
that you are my Lord,
and my Savior.
my Savior.
I receive you today.
I receive you today.
I am now in the family of God.
I am now in the family of God.
Amen.
Amen.
And it's just that simple, y'all. Doesn't mean you're going to change today. Don't even mean you're going to change tomorrow. Because listen, this is a process.
Yes, God.
The undoing is a process. The reprogramming is a process. You got to walk it out. You got to walk it out being committed to walking it out. Listen, y'all, find you someplace, a church, a group, someplace that's going to feed you life and not death. That's going to love you and not hate you, build you up and not tear you down. And please remember, no matter what anybody says to you or anybody thinks about you, you just keep shining. I love y'all. And please meet us here back next week. I'm going to say it next time. Next week, same time, same place. Facebook, YouTube. We love y'all. Good night.
Good night, y'all.